Hi, this is Kai Pan for Shanzai.com, and we're back here revisiting the Zenithink ePad that we'd shown a little bit earlier. Right off the bat, we want to tell you this isn't going to be a full-on regular review from us. This is an early prototype that we received from Zenithink. There are going to be updates made to the product. We're assured that will be happening before it actually goes on the market. Right now, you can only pre-order the product. But what we wanted to do was to give you a little bit of a clue is what to expect from the device when it does get all cleaned up, and also maybe make some comparisons to an obvious product that people would like to probably compare and decide what the value is worth against, say, the actual iPad. Let's talk about form factor for a second here. You can look at both of the devices are 10-inch devices. The screen length is a little bit more wide format for the Zenithink than the original iPad itself. That lends probably better to widescreen video playback performance, but probably for the rest of the applications, maybe it doesn't have any particular advantage. Actually, websites, maybe it depends again if you like to prefer a wide angle look at a website or a longer, further scroll down version of the site. I guess that's just a personal preference thing. The other thing you'll notice about the form factor right off the bat is that the original iPad is a little bit slimmer. I would say the Zenithink, if you want to see these side by side, you can check it and see it for yourself. It's just a little bit thicker. It's not a big deal in my mind. I think it's, potato really as far as I'm concerned. It does have the space made for a full USB connection on the Zenithink, so perhaps that's why it's a little bit wider, and maybe just to fit some of the other components that they jammed inside here in I/O as well. Weight. What about weight? How do the two products compare weight-wise? When I first picked up the product, strangely enough, I felt the Zenithink was lighter than the iPad. Really, it kind of had that feeling that it was quite a bit lighter. But actually, what I think it is more about weight distribution. Because the iPad is a little bit more square, the actual weight is more compacted into one spot. Actually, the Zenithink feels a little bit lighter, but I'm guessing if you look at the stats, we can check that for the specs for you in the written part of the article, that probably they're very similar in weight. They feel pretty close to the same. Of course, the ePad is booting up Android 2.1, which is probably also well suited to the 1 GHz processor from Zenithink that they've got inside the device. You can see that's going through that little process now. Boom, and here we are right on the home screen. Now, one of the things that this obvious more screen real estate leans toward on why a person might choose a larger size tablet as opposed to the 7-inch size or even smaller 5-inch form factor devices is for certain dedicated applications. And one of those, I think, with the obvious choice might be very popular, the e-book readers. Now, I think if you look at e-book readers that are dedicated devices like the Kindle, for instance, their performance still is recognized as probably the best you're going to get. But I think both the iPad's proven that people can also want to read ebooks on their color screen devices. Here we've got a copy of Zombie Nights, which is our favorite little book. It's actually already in the middle of the book because we've already been scrolling through and reading the book on ourselves. But you can see that the screen is nice and big, the text is nice and big. Touching the screen scrolls you through to the next page, moves you along quite smoothly. Again, I think for transitions, it's very fast, seamless. One of the problems with some of the previous ebook readers was that page turning was a little bit slow. On this device, you can see that's not a problem whatsoever. I think if you're a fan of a tablet-style reading experience for an ebook, I think you're probably going to be quite happy with that when this device hits the market. So playing some video, of course, would be also one of the great things about having a bigger screen. We've been told there's going to be lots of improvements on the video performance, that there isn't really been a dedicated player that's well suited to the device yet loaded on it, but we thought we'd bring up Real Player for a moment so you can just kind of see what the bigger screen would look like. And really, actually, the video performance, this is a 480p video that we're showing here. It's quite smooth and good, and you can see that, of course, the big screen format makes the video a lot more enjoyable than on some of the tinier screens that we viewed videos on before. So again, if you're willing to make a small sacrifice in portability by going up to a 10-inch screen, you get a lot better video experience, I would say. Web browsing, as we expected on the bigger screen, does provide better results in terms of being able to see quite a bit of a nice big vision on the screen. Real estate, it's still the early 8x600 resolution, so it's not really much change in that sense. but it does feel much more comfortable to have a bigger part of the page, which you can see from the video here. It shows just a little bit more going on and seems a little bit better. And of course, because it's Android 2.1, even the mobile pages that we would normally pick up on CNN and BBC, when you visit them, actually give you the full regular website version rather than the mobile versions on the site, which I think is a big plus. All right, productivity also is one of the things you'd expect from a bigger tablet. It might be an important part of your choices here. We're not able to go too much in depth with that, but there is an Office Suite application here that can access some content. We've got on our content here, on our test content folder, a PowerPoint presentation that we use for testing here. So see how that comes up. Yep, and you can see from there, there's our Shanzai.com lovely template showing off how to test your tablet. Flipping through that, transition to the next page, you can see we've got an embedded image there and just some of the formatting of the text, and so you can just see how that might show up in your on your PowerPoint presentation. Scrolling through that again, you can see the page load time seems to be fairly quick once the presentation is actually fully loaded in the Office Suite. Because the software has not fully been tuned yet, it is a little bit difficult to see what all the wonderfulness of the processor, the 1 gigahertz processor, means for a Shanzai tablet. But I think you can see even just from some of the basic transitions here. If you press the device, pop it on, you can see there's like slightly different effects, a little bit snappier. We've found scrolling through and opening applications to be just less lag and just that much quicker. So in conclusion, as we wrap up this sort of early preview of a prototype product, we'd like to say, for US dollars 250, when this thing has some of the kinks worked out, we see a lot of potential for the product. We'll look forward to doing a closer review of it again when we can actually test some of those finer points that we've mentioned so far. Zenithink, a $250 offer compared to, say, the $800 or $600 versions of the iPad, really is quite something special, I think, for people who are looking to have the tablet experience but aren't quite willing to shell out quite that much money to find out if a tablet really suits their lifestyle. 10-inch form factor, again, is great for the sofa surfing experience. So for, as I say, in that price range, it might be worth checking that out. But I think at this point we're still saying, take a wait and see attitude. It's not on the market. There's a reason for that. And when it does become available, we'll run it through the software again and give you a little bit more closer look at it.